Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another video on the channel. As you guys can see, I'm not in my setup. I'm currently not home at the moment. But despite that, I still had to catch the game with Barcelona and Liverpool, which we'll be talking about today. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys like the video, comment, subscribe, so you never ever miss out on a video. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So please make sure, and I can't do that without any of your help. So straight into things. I think the first thing I want to talk about is my beloved Barcelona. Now, we can talk about all the good things that Barcelona have done this season. I think the team's ability to bounce back from where we were at the start of the season, particularly with all the challenges that we faced, with the injuries that we had, with Real Madrid starting off really well under Xabi Alonso, and just the expectation to go out there and do it again just as we did last year, I think really put a lot of pressure on the players, and you saw it in those opening few weeks. But I think as the season has gone on, this team has continued to grow, and we've gone to a level where I don't really feel a lot of things with Barcelona, because on one hand, I do expect us to win La Liga because I do believe we're the best team in Spain. But on the other hand, I just feel like this team cannot really go far in the Champions League, playing the way that we do, with the high line, with the lack of defending ability. I just don't think it's something that's possible. But I will say, in the attacking areas, this team is ridiculously good. Ridiculously good. If I ever look left and right, it's because I'm probably crossing the road or I'm looking out for cars. I'm not trying to get hit. But this team, attacking-wise, is genuinely ridiculous. And I think one thing that gets completely overstated with this team is people love to make the argument that, oh, well, Barcelona don't know how to defend, or Barcelona concede a lot of goals and a lot of chances. But one thing people don't understand is we concede a lot of goals, yes, but if we're scoring 4, 5, 6 goals a game, it doesn't really matter how many chances you concede or how many goals you concede, because you're going the other way and scoring more goals than the opposition. But the problem is this season, Barcelona is not doing that. And today is another example of that. Creating chance upon chance upon chance. I think we lost against Real Sociedad a week or two ago. We lost that game, and we were the better team from minute 1 to minute 90. And we lost that game because we didn't take our chances. And I think in the biggest games, particularly like today, you saw the man-to-man press that Elche employed in the game, and it worked. It worked to fruition for them. They created a lot of chances. They put us under a lot of pressure. And the team, they really struggled. But 2 players for me, they elevated themselves. 3 players, in fact, elevated themselves above everyone else in the team. And I'll come to talk about them. But I think today's performance, once again, is just a microcosm of everything that's both good and bad with Barcelona, because, yes, this team can score a lot of goals. Yes, this team creates chances like it's nothing. Yes, this team is probably the best team in La Liga, but you look at the defensive side of the field, and it's just like, wow. If you gave Hansi Flick better players, higher level players, players who can defend pretty much on their own. They don't need a system to defend. They don't need elite players to the left and right of them to defend. Just give them an ability to defend and they'll do it. 1v1, they'll do it. Jules Koundé has fallen off a cliff this season. Balde fallen off a cliff this season, even though I thought he was better today. But with Barcelona, I think there are a few players, and I think this is the problem with Arsenal, where, of course, Arsenal went on to win 4-0 today. Incredible win, incredible performance, in my opinion. Just the sort of performance that shuts up all your critics and keeps you moving, because that's what you need to do in a league-winning campaign. That's all you need to do. Just go out there and win games, and that's what Barcelona have done this season. So I can't criticize them with that. But I just feel as though sometimes this team has the ability to be elite. Genuinely, this team has the ability to be elite. And I mean elite in winning Champions Leagues after Champions Leagues after Champions League. Some of the players we have are genuinely incredible. Genuinely incredible. I mean, you look at Lamine Yamal today again. This kid, he's the best player in the world. We talked about how Kylian Mbappe, in my opinion, cannot be the best player in the world when your team doesn't play well with you in the team, when your team doesn't win games, when your team doesn't win trophies, when it just looks like the team is a bit dysfunctional. Obviously, he's not the reason for that. He's not the only reason for that. But at the same time, there has to be discussion surrounding that. But with Lamine Yamal, there's nothing like that. There is nothing like that. The guy is the best player on the pitch, game in, game out. He doesn't need to score. He doesn't need to assist. He creates chances like it's nothing. He scores goals now. He's a bit more decisive in his play. He's able to run in behind like he wasn't last season. He's able to take a man on 1v1. He can create chances over the top. He can play it to your feet. He can dribble past 2, 3, 4 players. The guy he's ridiculously good. Genuinely ridiculously good. I'm watching him today again, and I'm just sitting there thinking, we're taking advantage of this guy, because we did the same thing with Messi, where we sat there, and I'm not comparing him with Messi. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. He has to do a lot more in his career to get to Messi's level, but we said the same thing with Messi, where it became normality, the performances Messi was dropping. I think it got to a point where people weren't even taking into account what we were really seeing with Lionel Messi. Genuinely, they weren't taking it into account. But with Yamal, please, I'm begging you, if you guys are sitting there, if you guys are watching these games, if you guys are absorbing what we're seeing week in, week out, please take it in. This player is not a normal player. This is not a normal talent. This is not a player that just comes out every single year. This is one of the best players Barcelona has ever made. And if everything goes well, and I pray it goes well, this is going to go down as one of the best players Barcelona has ever seen. Genuinely. The amount of games where it just feels like he puts the team on his back, even midweek against Copenhagen. I don't even think Barcelona played that well. Barcelona did not even play that well in that game. And who's the man that takes us to victory? Who's the man that scores the goal? Who's the man that gets the equalizer for the assist for the equalizer? It's Lamine Yamal. It's Lamine Yamal. It's Lamine Yamal. Time and time again, it's Lamine Yamal. And we could keep on saying, oh, he's only 18 years old. He's only 18 years old. But stop being scared. Because we said the same thing with Messi when he was coming through. Oh, well, he's only 19. He's only 20. Once a player shows you who they are, that is who they are. Once a player shows you who they are, that is who they are. And the same thing goes for Frenkie de Jong. Now today, we saw that man-to-man press from Elche, which I thought was so advantageous against Barcelona. And we saw Paris Saint-Germain do the same thing against us earlier in the season, and we struggled. There are only a few players in this team who are able to cope in a man-to-man press. And that's Frenkie de Jong, that's Lamine Yamal. Maybe Rafinha from game to game, and Balde, depending on who he's playing against. But tonight, Frenkie de Jong, look, people will continue to harp on about how he hasn't achieved what he should at Barcelona, how he's been subpar in some aspects. This guy has been our best midfielder at the football club for the last 6 years. The most consistent, the most available, the most reliable, the highest quality. Frenkie de Jong, week in, week out. You can say some games he hides. And yes, I do believe that there are some games where I feel as though he's whining too much. He doesn't get stuck in as much as he should because his quality is there. It's not a matter of quality. Sometimes it's a matter of your mentality. But I don't know this guy personally, so I'm not going to come here and tell you Frenkie de Jong doesn't have mentality. But again, today you look at that performance. Physically, he's everywhere. Intensity is there. Ability to play a pass, it's there. Looking to play the ball forward, running in behind, creating chances for the opposition. I mean, sorry, not for the opposition, for us. For the opposition would be terrible. The guy is just, he's on another level. People will criticize Frenkie de Jong. And look, for as long as I've been watching Barcelona, Frenkie de Jong has been one of the scapegoats for any bad thing that happens at this football club. Him, Araujo, Ter Stegen, even though I think the latter two are rightly so. But for people to criticize Frenkie de Jong the way they do, every single chance they get, it feels as though when he plays at an elite level, they say, oh, this is the level we should be seeing from Frenkie de Jong. When he doesn't play at an elite level, they say, can you guys see this guy is not good enough? So I don't know where does the truth lie? Is he not good enough? Or is he too good and he's not meeting expectation? You can't keep moving the goalposts every single game. But enough on Barcelona. Next, I think I want to talk about Liverpool. And I was watching both games at the same time, so I was able to get a glance of what was happening. And to be very honest, Barcelona were so comfortable in this game. It was only 3-1, but it probably should have been 8 or 9. Ferran Torres missing chance after chance. Generally, if I talk about Ferran Torres today, I won't stop. I'll keep on walking until the day is over. But Liverpool, routine victory. They went 1-0 down. And to be very honest, Newcastle in those opening 25-30 minutes were really good in my opinion. Eddie Howe's team looked very solid. They were creating chances. They were causing chaos. Gordon looked dangerous. Bonds looked dangerous. Alanga looked dangerous in behind. The midfield was imposing themselves. It looked like a good performance. And with a lot of key players out today, no Livramento, no Joelinton, no Guimaraes, no Voltemada or Vissa from the start. I thought Newcastle did really well, especially considering they had to go to Paris midweek and play in a really, really big game. I thought they did well in those opening minutes of the game. But as the game went on, I think the quality of Liverpool just continued to show. And two players that I've said it before and I'll continue saying it. Football quality does not lie. Football quality was not lie. And in aspects of Arsenal, and I'm sorry to keep on bringing up Arsenal, but they're the best team in the league, so I feel like they're the reference, right? They're always the reference. Arsenal don't have players like Hugo Ekitike at their football club. Let's just be honest with ourselves. There is no footballer at Arsenal in the attacking areas of the field that is in the same stratosphere as those two players. Maybe you could argue Saka, but I have my own reservations about Saka that I've made very clear on this channel before. The way that Ekitike and Florian Wirtz play football, we'll start with Florian Wirtz. Now, when he first came into the league, we knew the price tag that was, wavering over his head. We know the criticisms. We know the expectation that was around Florian Wirtz. But guys, this guy is a stupendously good footballer. He is stupendously good. Anybody who tries to convince you otherwise, anybody who tried to make you believe that this is a player that wasn't going to work in the league, this is a player that wasn't going to thrive in the league, ball doesn't lie, man. When you're good, you're good. There's no if, and, buts, or maybes. When you're good, you are good. And Florian Wirtz is just that. Today, you look at the assist he gets for the goal for Ekitike. I mean, in between 2-3 players, still finding a way to get past all of them and then bring the ball back for Ekitike. The ability to get into tight spaces, play with the ball. Now you're starting to see that physicality come into his game. He's getting a bit more stuck in. He's getting to those second balls. He's a bit more aggressive in his press. He's a bit more active around the field. His play with Gravenberch, with McAllister, with Szoboszlai looks a bit more natural. Ekitike as well on the other side, and he's the person that I really wanted to talk about. Because Florian Wirtz, for me, I already know he's a good player. I've said this before. For me, him and Musiala, they're the same level. There's this notion as though Musiala is far better than Florian Wirtz. I don't subscribe to that notion whatsoever. I think they're 1A and 1B. Genuinely, I do. But the man that continues to wow me week in, week out is Hugo Ekitike. Hugo Ekitike. I'm telling you, if you put this man in that Arsenal side, Arsenal would be 15 points clear at the top of the league right now. They would be 15 points clear at the top of the league because this is the best striker in the Premier League behind Erling Haaland. This is the best striker in the Premier League behind Erling Haaland. His ability to play with his back to goal, his aerial threat, the way he's able to drop deep, receive the ball, play the ball, link with players like Florian Wirtz, with players like Mohamed Salah. He's able to go out wide, allow Gakpo to go into the central areas. He's able to take a man on 1v1. You look at the goal he scored, the first goal from Florian Wirtz, the assist, just gets in front of his man outside of the boot finish. The second goal gets the ball long. He's willing to make those channel runs. He's hungry. He's versatile. He can play left foot, right foot. He can take a shot from outside the box. He hits the ball so cleanly. This is one thing you don't see with many strikers nowadays. It feels as though some of them, they kind of flap at the shots. It doesn't feel incisive. It doesn't feel assertive. There is none of that concern with Hugo Ekitike. When he hits the ball, it stays hit. When he hits the ball, it stays hit. Genuinely today, once again, another performance to just add to the highlight reel of performances from him this season. Honestly, the hair, the styles, the celebrations, the enigma, the social media presence. This is a superstar. This is a superstar in the making, genuinely. And of course, we can talk about all the other things that Liverpool did, but those are the two main players that I wanted to talk about. Hugo Ekitike, Florian Wirtz. These are real footballers. Mohamed Salah, once again, adding another record to the list. He got an assist today for Florian Wirtz. His goal was neat and tidy, as you'd expect from Florian Wirtz. Lovely little finish into the bottom corner. And Liverpool keep on moving forward. And it raises another question that the Premier League continues to baffle me. Right now, Arne Slot is one of the most under-pressure managers in world football. One of the most under-pressure managers. Yeah, Liverpool sit fourth in the Premier League. They sit third in the Champions League. And they're in the next round of the FA Cup. Yet he's one of the most under-pressure managers in world football. Now, I know the expectation coming into the season was not to go, oh, we're challenging for top 4. You wanted that league title. You wanted that back-to-back. But it's not as though things are completely out the window. It's not like the season is completely over. There's still a lot to fight for this season. There's still a lot to fight for this season for Liverpool. So it's an interesting one. Of course, I don't know all the ins and outs of Liverpool. It feels as though there's a lot of tactical rigidity with Arne Slot. It feels as though some of the players have kind of lost their touch with him. It feels as though perhaps maybe the fans have just lost that feeling for Arne Slot. They just feel as though this is not a manager they can get behind anymore. But I don't understand how that can be the case. I don't see how that can be the case. I don't see how that can be the case. You've won, what is it? You've won a Premier League title. I don't even know who those people were. I probably do know who they are. I just didn't catch you at their faces. You've won a Premier League title. I mean, you won the trophy that Liverpool fans have been crying for. Of course, they won it in 2020, but there were no fans there. They never had the chance to celebrate. And now you fast forward to today. And just a year, not even a year on, a man who won you the Premier League title, they're shouting for him to be gone. They're shouting that this is a manager that needs to go. A man who won you the Premier League title. Of course, I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, their belief is right or wrong, their opinion is right or wrong, but for it to go from Premier League title winner to get him out today in just what, 6 to 7 months? That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. But Liverpool, they pick up another 3 points. They keep on climbing the Premier League table. I still think they'll comfortably finish top 4. Of course, that wasn't the preseason expectation, but that's just the reality. You just have to live with what you have. And I still think they can go far in the Champions League. I think this team has a lot of quality. I think they're starting to find themselves. I think defensively they're getting better. I think in the attacking areas they have a lot of great quality. As we said with Ekitike, with Florian Wirtz, Isak still to come back. You've got Gakpo, you've got Salah. You've got Chiesa coming off the bench, who I think needs to be getting more minutes. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens with Liverpool. We'll see what happens across Europe. Of course, Chelsea today winning as well. Great win for them under Liam Senior. Arsenal winning, as I said earlier in the video, continuing that streak going on. It's been a good weekend of football, and it's a beautiful day outside. The weather is good. I got my sweatshirt on, so you know the weather is good. But, of course, let me know what you guys have to say down in the comment section down below. Let me know all your thoughts on the games that we saw today, but most especially on Hugo Ekitike and Lamine Yamal. These guys are the superstars of the next generation. Let me know all of that and a whole lot more. As I said, if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. As I said, don't forget it, and I can't do it without every single one of y'all's help. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye.